Coach, it's been an interesting year already. You're beginning to get some guys emerge, but Coach Lee said that X receiver position still kind of wide open and kind of waiting for a guy to kind of take charge of that. How would you kind of assess that group?
I got three guys that played a good bit last week, and all three of them played well. Ra winning freshman SEC Player of the Week was a cool honor and well deserved. Malik's playing well, Tulu's playing well, and they all have kind of a different skill set. We would love to just play about two guys if we can. I've never played three at one position before, but it'll work its way out. But as long as they're all doing well, they're all going to play, and I'm trying to do my best to situate it. But we practice every day. We compete against each other. But all three of them are good players, and all three of them have contributed in a good way to our offense this year.
Next, we'll go to Steph.
Coach, I know a couple weeks ago you tweeted out a picture from the women's soccer game here, and Coach Leach was at the volleyball practice the other day, and the baseball team was getting recognized at halftime. I mean, within the athletic department, is that something you guys make a concerted effort to, go check out some of the other sports when you get the free time?
I do, just because I think it's pretty cool. Even soccer, we got Ole Miss coming in Thursday night. It's going to be a big game, and Coach Armstrong James, he's one of my golfing buddies. We pair up pretty good. I normally nip him by a couple, but he's fun to be around. And assistant coach Zimmerman, now he's too good of a golfer. I try not to play with him, but they're good guys, and they're good coaches, and it's right next door, and it's cool to be able to go watch them. Volleyball, having a chance to hopefully go see them soon. And anytime there's teams that win. And to be a college coach, to be on a college campus is really just a cool deal. That kind of personally, that's how I feel. I love the opportunity to go watch teams play and compete. And in the SEC, it's a neat thing. SEC soccer is pretty impressive. SEC volleyball is pretty cool. Baseball, I mean, that's tough to beat. So I know there's a couple other coaches, but yeah, I've always enjoyed it. And I got a bunch of kids. I love to take them and watch them play and collect some autographs later. But as time and again, as time goes on, every year you're kind of at a different place. You recognize how cool it is to be involved in college athletics. All the sports are really neat to be a part of.
Are you a soccer guy in general, or just Mississippi State soccer?
A little bit, yeah. I remember at Washington State, we'd go watch them play. South Carolina used to watch them play. Honestly, I could care less about soccer. I could care less about baseball. I really don't like baseball. But I'll tell you what, good baseball, it's hard to beat. And our baseball is pretty impressive. Good baseball is outstanding. Bad baseball is awful. I can't stand it. It's terrible. But I remember my years at South Carolina, too. We won 2 national championships, played for a third. Clemson was great at baseball back then. And, I mean, we had 15,000 fans at those games. So really cool college sports are kind of hard to beat. Women's basketball at South Carolina, Don Staley, just to go in there, they averaged 15,000, 17,000. Play Connecticut. I mean, it's a cool event to be at. So I've always kind of appreciated athletics in that regard.
Andy?
You mentioned good baseball versus bad baseball. You watch the World Series at all? You have a team?
Coach Miller's got it on all over the place, and he kind of twitches every time the Braves do something good, but I could care less about pro baseball. I went to one Major League Baseball game as a kid. My dad took me to one in 1979. My father was coaching at Georgia Tech. He took me to a Braves game, and it rained out. So, I really could care less about pro baseball. But Mason, he thinks highly of it, and you can see the expression on his face and tell how the Braves did that day. So he was happy today. So I think they won, didn't they?
They did. Yeah, you're spot on there. Well, my actual question is about Ron Thomas. Just where have you kind of seen him grow? 7 games into his freshman year?
It's neat. The first game of the year, he actually started. And Malik was out that game. Tulu was going to start, and Tulu just had a kickoff return, and he got kind of banged on the kickoff return. So we're kind of looking for a player. Yeah, you're in. And he actually played about a bunch of snaps that first drive, had a couple good catches, and he's got a lot of talent. And then I'm trying to think the next game he played a decent amount, and we put him in, I think, against Memphis, and he missed a couple signals, and he ran the wrong route. And he said, "Coach, I just didn't get the signal." I was like, "Hey, you can't play then." So he's learning, but he's a talented young man, and he's a little bigger than you think he is. His ball skills are pretty remarkable, and he gets better every day. But he's got a bright future. He really does. He's a fun kid to coach. He's a talented young man, and I'm looking forward to watching him grow and develop and keep learning how to be a better receiver every day.
What's to say about his composure? That first game of his freshman year, basically, he kind of gets gets thrown in the fire?
Yeah, a lot, and it's kind of rare. And if you get a chance to kind of talk to him, he's got kind of a very neutral demeanor. You know, he's not too big or too low or too excited or too angry or too. He's there's sometimes I kind of wonder, like, you know, let's get really fired up for the moment. And I'm like, you know, just hey, do you. And he is. He's a calm, collected. The moment's not too big. He loves playing the game. He loves competing, and he's got a natural talent for receiving the football. So that's a characteristic we're looking for at that position.
Steve.
You mentioned having an even keel personality. You know, Malik Heath has a very big personality. You know, what's your relationship like with him, and what do you like about having him in your room?
I tell you, Malik is one of the more talented guys I've ever coached. He does. Our strength coach said Malik runs hot. So when he is going 100 miles an hour, and then he'll slow down. But he's a talented man, and when he comes to play, he's big. He's bigger than you think he is. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of upside. We just got to keep getting him to the point where he can play with confidence and have fun playing the game and do his job every down. But he's a talented guy. He really is. He played well last week. We got to keep him moving. Made a good catch in the NC State game for a touchdown. And I always kind of make fun of him because if you ever watch him make a big catch, he is extremely emotional after he catches the ball. And I said, can you kind of put that between snap and whistle and save your energy? They don't burn it all after the play. Kind of from snap to whistle. Let me see you play with all the energy you got in you, because he's got a lot in him. And when he plays with it, he is a very talented player.
One second. Coach, we see those three guys out there on the field, but what about the guys we don't see? What about the younger guys? How are they developing?
They're doing well. I always think it's unique. Coach Leach, Sunday night we have a young player, Pascal. Thursday night we scrimmage with our young players, and Leach calls all of it. And I've asked him before, can I call it tonight? He goes, no. And he does it, and he's involved in it, and he's coaching the quarterbacks, and he's coaching the receivers, and he does that every single year. And he'll talk about guys that were true freshmen that didn't play at all, that were All-American Biletnikoff winners, that played Thursday night football, that played Sunday night Pascal. So his development of young quarterbacks and receivers is constant. It's never ending. So I got a good group. Antonio Harmon, I think, is a big, strong target. I kind of like him. Teddy Knox is running around. Who else we got in that group? Well, we got a few guys. Jacoby Moore's a guy kind of sprained, I think, a foot a couple weeks ago, but he was back today running around. But he's another talented young man. So those guys are working hard and learning this offense, and when their day comes, they're going to be ready.
Yeah.
Was Caleb Ducking meant at all that his touchdown got called back, and was it still good for him to get some?
You know what? I kind of brag about our last week's game because I think we had 22 receptions for 275 yards and 6 touchdowns for the outside receivers. And I included Ducking's one catch for 60 yards and a touchdown in that group, which I thought was pretty impressive. But yeah, Ducking had a reception in, was it the second game or third game, NC State game, that got called back for penalty. So that was unfortunate to have that happen to him. But he's a talented guy, and I'm glad he got his chance to get in there and get a few balls thrown to him and get to make some plays. And anytime you can have some success, and it's so important to let some guys play that just don't get to play much. And all these guys work hard, and all these guys really practice hard. So and it's fun for the whole team to watch guys get a chance to play and make plays. So yeah, that was a fun day Saturday, and it was good to see a bunch of guys get some opportunities and really make the most of them.
Andy?
You mentioned Ronald Thomas missed some signals against Memphis. How kind of quickly does he kind of like flush that and I guess learn those signals, and how does he go about learning that?
We just practice them. We practice them every day as much as we can. But if you ever watch Will, and Will, he makes sure we're not signaling to the defense, but he's pretty quick. And if you're a young guy and you're really not sure, you kind of just freeze. Like if you're a little older guy, you're like, oh, whoa, wait, I didn't get it. But he just kind of froze. And again, that's youth. And I told him, listen, don't freeze. You have to find out. Don't let that happen. So again, keep practicing, keep learning, keep making it very, very clear. If you don't clearly know the signal, I cannot put you on the field. I mean, do you understand that? That's you're a good player when you know what to do, but if you don't know what to do, you're not a very good player. And he understands that. But again, that you got to learn that. You got to practice it. You got to go through it. You got to recognize how important every single play is that you're on the field, and it is. I say it's a game of inches all the time, and everything we do and everything that happens has got to be at a high level, because if it's not, it's a bad play. And if bad plays add up, you typically don't win many games in this league.